As the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X continues their life cycle, not even a full year in yet, rumors are already starting to pop up about a potential console refresh that will see brand new technology make its way to both the Sony and Microsoft flagship consoles. Welcome everybody and thank you for joining me. So for those who might not have been following along with the console news, new information have popped up that both Xbox and PlayStation is due for an upgrade in the not so distant future. Now just to be clear, all of this is still just a rumor, and rumors is something that I do not like to cover at all, but in this case I am going to make an exception because there is just no way that this is not true. No disrespect to the leaker of the story, but you do not exactly need a crystal ball to know that both PlayStation and Xbox is working on either a pro version or an improved version of their consoles. Ever since Sony and Microsoft started making consoles, there has always been a mid-season upgrade, whether it is a slim version or a pro version, or in Xbox case during the Xbox One days an S or an X version. I am as sure that Xbox and PlayStation will bring out improved versions of their consoles as I am sure that Apple will bring out another iPhone. Now the time frames and even the prices might be a little bit off, but other than that I see the core of this rumor just holding up. So as the Notebook Check reports, both the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series S and X are due for a mid-recycle refresh if the YouTuber's Moore law is dead is to be believed. Rumors about the upgraded PlayStation 5 have been making the rounds for quite some time now, with one suggesting that it could feature a dual GPU configuration. It is slated for a late 2023 release and will apparently cost between $600 and $700 US. Not a whole lot is mentioned about the innards other than the fact that it could up its CPU count, TBD, and use newer Zen cores. So let's just quickly touch on the PlayStation 5. As suggested above, Sony is working on a version of their console that will see some massive improvements. Rumors have been making the rounds for quite some time now, as rightfully pointed out in the article, that PlayStation is in fact working on an upgraded version that will see 2 GPUs. Now I'm not too sure about the 2 GPUs part, but I think we can all rest assured that a pro version of the PlayStation 5 will definitely see the light of day. There is also some speculation that the new PlayStation 5 will be capable of 8K, but I'm not too sure about that one either. If it will in fact have 8K features, it will most likely just be heavily upscaled, and I have to say this is a massive downside when it comes to console gaming. They always go for these highly unattainable resolutions that they know is just not practical, at least not in its native form, but they still go ahead and do it just so they can slap a 4K or an 8K logo on the box. It is a selling point and unfortunately it works. PlayStation should be focusing on getting native 4K at a consistent 60 frames for any and every one of their games. They can hardly reach that as is, and it is only going to get worse in the coming years as games get even bigger and more demanding. The same goes for Xbox, and that brings me to the Series S. Microsoft alleged Xbox Series S refresh is expected to drop around the same time. Among other things, it will be powered by the new APU based on the TSMC's N6 node, and it will essentially have an improved version of the 7nm node. This in turn will allow Microsoft to squeeze even more power out of the RDNA 2 based silicon and even re-able some CUs. However, it is also plausible that Microsoft will upgrade to the RDNA 3 architecture future, considering that it will be mainstream by the time the alleged Xbox Series S refresh is due. Whether or not this new Xbox Series S integration will be capable of pulling off 4K gaming remains to be seen. The ability to play games at 1440p and 120 frames per second with ray tracing enabled will also suffice. Additional storage would be nice too. Now again, this article talks about 4K for the Series S, but they can't even play the resolutions that they promise now. The Series S is marketed as a 1440p console capable of 120 frames, and spoilers, there is no new AAA game that released within the last year that can run at that resolutions natively, especially if you factor in ray tracing. There might be some games that can reach 120 frames, but you do need to lower your resolution. There might also be some games that can reach 1440p, but you need to sacrifice frame rates, and I think the next Series S should just focus on doing those basic things well, and then also get a stable frame rate for RTX. Lastly is the Xbox Series X upgrade.
Let's suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream you wanted to dream, and that you could have the power within one night to dream 75 years of time. And you would naturally, as you began on this adventure of dreams, fulfill all your wishes. But now let's have a surprise. Let's have a dream which isn't under control.
Right now there is not too much information around this upgrade, but this is the only console where I feel it comes very close to doing the things as advertised. For the Xbox Series X, maybe just future-proofing would do the trick. Right now, just like with the PlayStation 5, 4K and 60 frames for the most part is possible, but it does start to struggle when it comes to a few newer, more demanding games. More powerful parts could just ensure a consistent 4K 60 frames for a longer period of time, and also it could maybe make ray tracing more stable. One thing that I am a little bit curious about though is what Xbox will be naming these consoles. With the Xbox One, they call their upgraded versions the One S and the One X, and I have no idea what they would be calling their current gen upgrades. Hopefully they will just call it a Pro version like Sony and not confuse people anymore. Ultimately, what I want to see is both Sony and Microsoft just focus on reaching their promised resolution and frame rates natively without any sacrifices for years to come, instead of gimmicks like 8K that we know will not be attainable for years to come just so they can slap the logo on the box. 4K and 60 frames with ray tracing enabled should be reachable by the time this console launch in 2023 or 2024. But on that note, this is where I'm going to end it. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button. If you would like to see more videos like this, please consider subscribing, and as always, please remember to stay safe, wash your hands, don't touch your face, and I hope to see you again soon.